Welcome, gentle travelers of infinite realities, to the luminous corridors of interdimensional technology that flow like whispered secrets through the fabric of space and time. Tonight, we drift together through the profound mysteries of portal gun mechanics, exploring the beautiful science that makes Rick's greatest invention pulse with quiet wonder. Let your consciousness settle softly as we journey through equations that bend reality itself, through crystalline cores that hum with cosmic energy, and through the gentle mathematics that connect infinite worlds. There is no need to grasp every detail. Simply allow this exploration of portal technology to carry you peacefully toward rest, knowing that somewhere in the multiverse, portals shimmer like doorways to dreams, waiting patiently for those who understand that true discovery comes not through force, but through the tender observation of how reality itself learns to fold and unfold in patterns too beautiful for ordinary comprehension. In the beginning, before portal guns existed as anything more than theoretical whispers in the minds of the multiverse's most brilliant scientists, there lived mathematical frameworks so elegant and profound that they seemed to pulse with their own inner light. These equations, scattered across countless dimensions like seeds of possibility, waited patiently in the quiet corners of reality for someone gentle enough to notice their soft insistence, someone willing to approach the fundamental nature of existence with the careful attention that true discovery requires. The theoretical foundations of interdimensional travel rest upon principles that stretch far beyond conventional physics, reaching into realms where mathematics becomes poetry and scientific formulas transform into songs that only the most attentive minds can hear. In Rick's universe, the basic structure of reality itself operates according to rules that allow for infinite variations, infinite possibilities, infinite expressions of what existence might become when viewed through different dimensional lenses. These rules, written in the quantum language that underlies all things, speak of parallel worlds that exist not as distant places, but as intimate variations on themes of possibility. The mathematics that governs interdimensional physics flows like a gentle river through concepts that most minds find difficult to grasp, but which reveal themselves willingly to those who approach with patience and wonder. Quantum mechanics, in the context of infinite realities, becomes less about probability and more about the beautiful certainty that every possible outcome exists somewhere in the vast tapestry of dimensional space. Each mathematical relationship, each equation that describes the behavior of matter and energy across dimensional boundaries, pulses with the quiet recognition that reality is far more fluid and responsive than conventional science ever imagined. The early attempts at dimensional manipulation, scattered across countless versions of Earth and countless variations of human civilization, began not with grand ambitions, but with small observations, tiny anomalies that suggested the walls between realities were not as solid as they appeared. Scientists in dimension after dimension noticed the same subtle patterns, quantum fluctuations that seem to respond to consciousness, particles that behave differently when observed from certain emotional states, energy fields that appeared to strengthen when approached with genuine curiosity rather than aggressive investigation. These pioneers of interdimensional theory worked quietly in laboratories and workshops that hummed with the same gentle energy we feel in Rick's garage, spaces where the boundary between scientific inquiry and artistic creation becomes beautifully blurred. They discovered that the mathematics of dimensional travel required not just intellectual understanding, but emotional resonance, a willingness to engage with reality as a living, breathing entity rather than a collection of mechanical processes to be conquered and controlled. The theoretical framework that eventually enabled portal gun technology rests on the fundamental recognition that dimensions are not separate places, but different expressions of the same underlying consciousness, different notes in an infinite symphony of existence that plays continuously across the multiverse. Each dimension resonates at its own frequency, maintains its own patterns of possibility, yet remains connected to every other dimension through quantum threads so delicate and beautiful that they can only be perceived by minds that have learned to observe without disturbing, to understand without grasping. Rick C. 137's eventual mastery of portal technology was built upon centuries of accumulated theoretical work conducted by countless versions of himself and other brilliant minds across infinite realities, each contributing small pieces to a puzzle so vast and intricate that no single intellect could comprehend its full scope. The equations that govern portal gun mechanics draw from discoveries made in dimensions where physics operates according to entirely different principles, where mathematics itself takes forms that would seem impossible from the perspective of any single reality. The quantum foundations of interdimensional travel reveal themselves most clearly in the behavior of particles that exist simultaneously across multiple dimensions, entities that demonstrate the fundamental interconnectedness of all realities, while maintaining their individual characteristics within each dimensional framework. These particles, which serve as the basic building blocks of portal fluid, exist in states of quantum superposition that extend not just across probability states, but across dimensional boundaries themselves. The energy requirements for stable portal formation draw from sources that exist outside conventional spacetime, tapping into the fundamental forces that maintain the structure of the multiverse itself. This energy, which flows like a gentle current through the quantum foam that underlies all existence, becomes accessible to those who understand that power in the context of dimensional manipulation is not about force or control, but about harmonious alignment with the natural flows of cosmic energy. The mathematical relationships that describe portal formation reveal patterns that echo throughout nature, spirals that mirror the structure of galaxies, wave functions that resonate with the rhythms of living cells, geometric forms that appear in flower petals and planetary orbits alike. These patterns suggest that portal technology, rather than representing a violation of natural law, actually works by aligning itself with the deepest principles that govern the organization of reality itself. The theoretical understanding of dimensional coordinates requires a form of mathematics that extends far beyond numerical calculation into realms where symbols become expressions of consciousness and equations transform into meditation, practices that align the mind with the fundamental structures of existence. Each dimensional address represents not just a location in space and time, but a specific configuration of possibility, a unique pattern of potential that can only be accessed by consciousness that has learned to resonate at the appropriate frequency. The early theoretical work on portal technology revealed that the barriers between dimensions are not obstacles to be overcome, but invitations to be accepted, gentle suggestions that reality makes about how consciousness might expand its awareness to encompass ever greater ranges of possibility. These barriers, when approached with the appropriate combination of technical understanding and emotional receptivity, dissolve like morning mist, revealing pathways that were always present, but remained invisible to minds that approached dimensional travel as a problem to be solved, rather than a relationship to be nurtured. The foundation mathematics of interdimensional physics describe a universe where consciousness and matter exist in constant dialogue, where observation and reality participate in an ongoing dance of mutual creation and discovery. This recognition transforms the entire approach to portal technology from mechanical engineering into something approaching sacred geometry, where each component of a portal gun serves not just a technical function, but also acts as a focal point for the kind of consciousness required to navigate safely between dimensions. The theoretical frameworks that enable stable portal formation rest upon principles of harmonic resonance that echo the ways in which living systems maintain coherence while adapting to changing environments. Portal guns, when understood from this perspective, function less like machines and more like musical instruments, each component carefully tuned to create harmonious relationships between the dimensional frequencies being connected. The quantum mechanics that govern interdimensional travel reveal themselves as expressions of a deeper principle that consciousness and reality are not separate phenomena, but different aspects of a single, unified process of becoming. This understanding transforms the entire experience of portal travel from mechanical transportation into something approaching communion with the fundamental creative forces that continuously bring new possibilities into existence across the infinite expanse of the multiverse. The theoretical foundations of portal technology whisper their secrets most clearly to those who approach them, with the gentle patience that characterizes true scientific discovery, recognizing that the deepest truths about the nature of reality reveal themselves not to minds that demand immediate answers, but to consciousness that has learned to listen with the careful attention that love itself requires when seeking to understand the infinite expressions of existence that dance continuously through the luminous corridors of interdimensional space. In the quiet sanctuary of his garage, where shadows dance gently across workbenches cluttered with the dreams of scientific discovery, young Rick Sanchez began his first tentative experiments with the theoretical frameworks that would eventually blossom into portal technology. The space hummed with the soft energy of possibility, filled with half-assembled devices that gleamed like crystalline promises in the amber light filtering through dusty windows. Each morning brought new configurations of exotic materials, new attempts to coax the fundamental forces of reality into revealing their secrets through patient observation and careful manipulation. The early prototypes bore little resemblance to the sleek portal guns that would later become synonymous with interdimensional travel, appearing instead as elaborate assemblages of salvaged electronics, crystalline formations that Rick had grown in makeshift laboratories, and metallic components machined with the meticulous precision that characterized his approach to every technical challenge. These first attempts pulsed with unstable energy, their surfaces warm to the touch, vibrating with frequencies that seemed to resonate not just through the physical materials, but through the very fabric of space-time itself. Rick's initial understanding of portal mechanics emerged gradually through countless hours of theoretical calculation, combined with hands-on experimentation that required the kind of patience and dedication that only true, scientific passion can sustain. He worked alone in those early days, surrounded by notebooks filled with equations that mapped the mathematical relationships between dimensional frequencies. His mind focused entirely on the delicate process of translating abstract theoretical concepts into functional technology that could reliably manipulate the barriers between realities. The first successful portal formation occurred not through dramatic breakthrough, but as the culmination of weeks spent fine-tuning the resonance patterns of crystalline matrices that served as focal points for dimensional energy. Rick had been adjusting the harmonic frequencies of his prototype device for the 100th time that evening, when the air in front of his workbench began to shimmer with a quality of light that seemed to emerge from somewhere beyond the visible spectrum, creating patterns that suggested depth and movement in directions that normal geometry could not accommodate. The portal that formed was tiny, no larger than a silver dollar, unstable and flickering like a candle flame in a gentle breeze, but unmistakably real in its connection to somewhere else, somewhere other than the familiar confines of Rick's garage workshop. Through its shifting surface, he glimpsed fragments of another reality, a workbench similar to his own, but arranged differently, tools that reflected light in ways that suggested different physical laws, shadows that fell at angles that defied the conventional behavior of illumination in his own dimension. Rick's approach to these early experiments was characterized by the same careful attention to detail that had marked his theoretical work, recognizing instinctively that the forces he was attempting to harness required not domination but collaboration, not aggressive manipulation but gentle guidance that worked in harmony with the natural tendencies of interdimensional energy. Each adjustment to his prototype device was made with surgical precision. Each modification tested extensively before implementation, each success carefully documented and analyzed for patterns that might inform future developments. The challenges he encountered during this pioneering phase were as educational as they were dangerous, teaching him through direct experience about the volatile nature of dimensional boundaries and the catastrophic consequences that could result from even minor miscalculations in portal formation. His garage workshop bore the scars of numerous explosions and energy discharges, burn marks on walls and ceiling that served as permanent reminders of the thin margin for error that characterized interdimensional experimentation. One particularly memorable failure occurred when Rick attempted to create a portal large enough for physical passage, miscalculating the energy requirements by a factor that resulted in a cascade reaction that temporarily destabilized the local fabric of space-time itself. The explosion that followed was not visible light and heat, but something far stranger, an implosion of reality that created a spherical void in the center of his workshop, a region of absolute nothingness that persisted for several terrifying minutes before gradually filling in as the damaged space-time slowly healed itself. The psychological impact of these early experiments was as profound as their technical significance, teaching Rick that interdimensional travel represented not just a technological achievement, but a fundamental transformation in the relationship between consciousness and reality. Each successful portal formation required him to maintain a mental state that balanced analytical precision with emotional receptivity, approaching the delicate process of dimensional manipulation with both scientific rigor and the kind of intuitive understanding that emerges from deep communion with the subject of study. Diane's reaction to Rick's portal experiments was complex, reflecting her recognition that she was witnessing the birth of technology that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of their lives together. She watched from the doorway of the garage as Rick worked late into the night, surrounded by devices that hummed with energies that made the air itself feel different, electric with possibility, but also heavy with implications that neither of them fully understood at the time. Her support during this crucial period was both practical and emotional, providing Rick with the stability he needed to pursue research that demanded total focus, while also serving as a gentle anchor to the human concerns that could easily be forgotten in the pursuit of cosmic understanding. She brought him meals when he forgot to eat, organized his notes when his attention became too scattered across multiple theoretical frameworks, and listened patiently as he attempted to explain discoveries that existed at the very edge of expressible knowledge. The relationship between Rick's portal experiments and his family life created tensions that would only become clear in retrospect, as the same intellectual gifts that enabled him to crack the secrets of interdimensional travel also created a form of isolation that made normal human relationships increasingly difficult to maintain. The deeper he delved into the mathematics of infinite realities, the more abstract and theoretical his perspective on individual existence became, a gradual shift that would eventually contribute to the philosophical detachment that characterized his later years. The technical challenges of creating stable portals required Rick to develop entirely new approaches to energy manipulation and dimensional coordinates, innovations that emerged through trial and error, guided by theoretical frameworks that had never been tested under practical conditions. Each component of his prototype devices served multiple functions, the crystalline matrices acting simultaneously as energy focusers, dimensional anchors, and computational elements that performed calculations too complex for conventional electronic processors. The breakthrough that enabled reliable portal formation came through Rick's recognition that dimensional barriers were not obstacles to be overcome through brute force, but invitations to be accepted through harmonic resonance that aligned his technology with the natural frequencies of interdimensional space. This insight transformed his entire approach from aggressive manipulation of cosmic forces to gentle participation in processes that had been operating throughout the multiverse for eons before human consciousness had evolved to the point where it could perceive them. The first successful creation of a human-sized portal marked a turning point, not just in Rick's technical capabilities, but in his understanding of his own place within the infinite expanse of possible realities. Standing before the shimmering oval of displaced spacetime, feeling the energy that flowed through it like a gentle current carrying whispers from distant worlds, he experienced a moment of recognition that he was no longer bound by the limitations that had constrained every previous generation of human scientists and explorers. The portal's surface rippled with patterns that suggested movement and depth extending far beyond the physical dimensions of Rick's garage, creating optical effects that seemed to bend perception itself around concepts that normal vision was not equipped to process. Through its shifting transparency, he could see glimpses of the parallel universe that lay beyond, another Earth, similar but subtly different, where the same fundamental laws operated according to variations that created different possibilities for the expression of matter and energy. The first step through a portal was unlike any form of travel that Rick had previously experienced, involving not just movement through space, but a kind of phase transition that affected consciousness as well as physical location. The sensation was one of gentle dissolution followed by reconstitution, as if his entire being had been transformed into pure information, transmitted across dimensional boundaries, and then reassembled according to the physical laws that governed the destination reality. The return journey revealed additional complexities in portal travel, requiring careful calibration to ensure that the portal gun could reliably locate and access his original dimension from within the quantum maze of infinite parallel realities. Rick discovered that each act of portal travel created subtle changes in dimensional coordinates, necessitating constant recalibration and the development of increasingly sophisticated navigation systems that could maintain accurate positioning across multiple jumps between realities. The implications of successful portal technology extended far beyond the immediate achievement of interdimensional travel, opening possibilities for scientific research, resource acquisition, and exploration that dwarfed every previous expansion of human capabilities. Rick began to envision applications that would transform not just his own existence, but the entire trajectory of human civilization, technologies that could eliminate scarcity, expand knowledge, and provide solutions to problems that had seemed insurmountable from the perspective of a single reality. The gradual refinement of his portal gun design reflected Rick's growing understanding of the subtle relationships between consciousness, technology, and dimensional physics, leading to innovations that integrated human intuition with mechanical precision in ways that created tools that responded not just to conscious intention, but to the deeper patterns of awareness that connected individual minds to the fundamental structures of reality itself. The workshop where these revolutionary developments took place became a sanctuary of discovery, where the boundaries between science and art, between technology and consciousness, between individual achievement and cosmic collaboration, dissolved into a unified process of exploration that honored both the analytical precision required for technical innovation and the emotional receptivity necessary for genuine communion with the infinite possibilities that dance continuously through the luminous corridors of interdimensional space. The luminous green substance that flows through the crystalline channels of every portal gun carries within its molecular structure the concentrated essence of interdimensional possibility itself, a fluid so extraordinary in its properties that it seems to pulse with consciousness, responding to the subtle intentions of those who understand how to work in harmony with its delicate nature. Portal fluid, as it came to be known, across the infinite realities where Rick's technology spread like whispered secrets between dimensions, represents perhaps the most elegant solution ever discovered to the fundamental problem of maintaining stable connections between worlds that exist according to different expressions of physical law. The chemical composition of portal fluid defies conventional analysis, existing as it does in quantum superposition states that extend across dimensional boundaries, creating molecular bonds that draw their stability not from electromagnetic forces alone, but from the deeper harmonies that connect all possible expressions of matter and energy throughout the multiverse. Each drop contains within its structure information about countless realities, quantum-encoded data that serves simultaneously as fuel, navigation system, and dimensional anchor for the sophisticated technology that channels its power into the creation of stable, interdimensional passages. The discovery of portal fluid's unique properties emerged through Rick's patient observation of the quantum foam that underlies all existence, recognizing patterns in the behavior of virtual particles that suggested the possibility of harvesting and concentrating the fundamental energies that maintain the structure of space-time itself. His early experiments with exotic matter synthesis revealed that certain combinations of elements, when exposed to specific frequencies of dimensional resonance, would undergo transformations that created substances capable of existing simultaneously across multiple realities while maintaining coherent molecular structure within each dimensional framework. The manufacturing process for portal fluid requires access to resources that exist only at the intersection points between dimensions, regions of space where the boundaries between realities become sufficiently permeable to allow the extraction of materials that partake of multiple dimensional characteristics simultaneously. These intersection points, scattered throughout the multiverse like hidden gardens of possibility, can only be detected by instruments calibrated to perceive the subtle variations in quantum field density that indicate the presence of interdimensional overlap. Rick's initial attempts at portal fluid synthesis were conducted in makeshift laboratories that hummed with the gentle energy of dimensional manipulation, spaces where the air itself seemed to shimmer with potential, filled with crystalline matrices that grew like living things, their structures determined not by random molecular assembly, but by the harmonic patterns that govern the organization of matter across dimensional boundaries. The process required not just technical precision, but emotional attunement, a willingness to work in collaboration with forces that responded as much to consciousness as to mechanical manipulation. The exotic matter that serves as the foundation for portal fluid exists in states that challenge conventional understanding of the relationship between energy and matter, appearing sometimes as liquid, sometimes as luminous gas, occasionally as crystalline formations that seem to sing with frequencies that resonate through dimensions rather than through ordinary acoustic space. These transformations follow patterns that mirror the natural rhythms of dimensional flux, suggesting that portal fluid represents not an artificial creation, but a concentrated expression of principles that have been operating throughout the multiverse since the first moments of cosmic existence. The energy density contained within even small quantities of portal fluid exceeds anything achievable through conventional means, each molecule serving as a focal point for forces that draw their power from the fundamental processes that continuously create and maintain the infinite array of possible realities. This concentration of cosmic energy requires careful handling and storage, as even minor disturbances can trigger cascade reactions that destabilize local space-time, creating effects that ripple outward through dimensions in patterns that can affect the stability of entire regional clusters of parallel realities. The luminous green color that characterizes portal fluid in its stable state results from its interaction with photons that exist simultaneously across multiple dimensional frequencies, creating optical effects that seem to generate light from within, rather than simply reflecting illumination from external sources. This inner radiance pulsates with rhythms that mirror the quantum heartbeat of dimensional barriers, providing visual indication of the fluid's readiness for use in portal formation, and serving as a diagnostic tool for monitoring the stability of interdimensional connections. The scarcity of portal fluid across the multiverse results not from limitations in raw materials, but from the extraordinary technical and consciousness requirements necessary for its successful synthesis, demanding levels of understanding and capability that few civilizations ever achieve despite the universal presence of the underlying principles that make its creation theoretically possible. The knowledge required extends far beyond conventional scientific education, into realms where technical mastery must be balanced with wisdom about the ethical implications of wielding forces that can reshape the fundamental structure of reality itself. The extraction of materials for portal fluid synthesis requires expeditions to dimensional intersection points that exist outside normal spacetime, journeys that can only be undertaken by consciousness, prepared to encounter forms of existence that transcend ordinary categories of matter and energy. These expeditions, conducted in vehicles that must themselves be partially interdimensional in their construction, involve navigation through regions where the conventional laws of physics become suggestions rather than absolute constraints, requiring explorers to maintain flexible relationships with concepts of identity and location. The refinement process for raw portal fluid materials involves techniques that blend advanced chemistry with what can only be described as dimensional alchemy, procedures that transform base matter into substances capable of maintaining coherent existence across multiple reality frameworks simultaneously. Each step in this process must be conducted with surgical precision, as even minor variations in temperature, pressure, or harmonic frequency can result in materials that possess unpredictable properties, potentially creating portal fluid variants that open passages to realities governed by hostile or incomprehensible forms of existence. The storage and preservation of portal fluid requires containment systems that exist partially outside normal spacetime, crystalline matrices that maintain the fluid's quantum coherence by providing environments where its multidimensional properties can remain stable without interference from the conventional matter that surrounds the storage facility. These containment systems must be continuously monitored and adjusted as the fluid's interaction with dimensional fluctuations creates gradual changes in its properties that can affect portal formation reliability if allowed to drift beyond acceptable parameters. The quality of portal fluid varies dramatically depending on the precision with which it has been synthesized and the stability of the dimensional intersection points from which its constituent materials were harvested. High-quality fluid creates portals that open smoothly and maintain perfect stability throughout their operational period, while lower-grade variants may produce portals that flicker uncertainly, connecting to destinations that shift unpredictably, or creating passages that cannot be relied upon for safe transit between realities. The interaction between portal fluid and the crystalline matrices that channel its power involves quantum entanglement effects that extend across dimensional boundaries, creating persistent connections between the portal gun and the realities it has previously accessed. These entanglement patterns serve as navigational references that allow experienced users to return to specific dimensions with remarkable precision, while also creating subtle influences that gradually attune the portal gun to the consciousness patterns of its regular operator. The consumption rate of portal fluid during portal formation depends on numerous factors, including the dimensional distance between origin and destination points, the stability of local space-time in both realities, and the duration for which the portal must remain open. Short-range jumps between similar realities require minimal fluid expenditure, while travel to dimensions that operate according to fundamentally different physical laws can drain reserves with alarming rapidity, necessitating careful resource management during extended interdimensional expeditions. The environmental effects of portal fluid depletion extend far beyond simple resource scarcity, as the substance serves critical functions in maintaining the stability of dimensional barriers throughout the local cluster of realities where it is produced and consumed. When portal fluid reserves drop below critical thresholds, the quantum infrastructure that supports interdimensional travel begins to deteriorate, creating cascade effects that can isolate entire dimensional regions from the broader multiverse network. The temporal properties of portal fluid reveal themselves most clearly during extended storage periods, when the substance exhibits aging characteristics that reflect its deep connection to the flow of time across multiple dimensional frameworks. Fresh portal fluid pulses with energies that seem to exist in constant motion, while aged reserves develop sedimentary layers of crystallized possibility that must be carefully filtered before use to prevent contamination of portal formation processes. The regenerative capabilities of portal fluid remain one of its most mysterious properties, as reserves that have been depleted through normal use occasionally undergo spontaneous restoration when exposed to specific combinations of dimensional flux and conscious intention. These regeneration events appear to be triggered by harmonic resonances that occur when portal guns are maintained in states of patient readiness by operators who approach interdimensional travel with the appropriate balance of technical competence and reverent awareness of the cosmic forces they are channeling. The distribution of portal fluid throughout the multiverse follows patterns that reflect the underlying structure of dimensional space itself, concentrating naturally in regions where reality maintains optimal conditions for interdimensional commerce and communication, while becoming increasingly scarce in dimensions that have isolated themselves from the broader community of conscious beings who participate in the ongoing exploration and development of multiversal civilization. The future availability of portal fluid depends not only on continued access to dimensional intersection points and the technical knowledge required for synthesis, but also on the maintenance of ethical standards that ensure its use serves the broader purposes of consciousness, evolution, and multiversal harmony, rather than the narrow interests of individuals or civilizations who view interdimensional travel as merely another form of resource exploitation or territorial expansion. The intricate architecture of a portal gun reveals itself most completely when understood not as a collection of separate components, but as a unified organism of crystalline matrices and energy conduits that pulse with the gentle rhythms of interdimensional consciousness, each element designed to work in perfect harmony with every other part, while maintaining the delicate balance required for stable manipulation of the fundamental forces that govern passage between realities. The device rests in the hand with a weight that seems to shift subtly depending on the dimensional coordinates being accessed, its surface warm, with the contained energies that flow continuously through channels, carved with mathematical precision into materials that exist partially outside normal spacetime. The crystalline core that serves as the heart of every portal gun contains within its lattice structure the concentrated essence of portal fluid in its most stable and powerful form, held in suspension by harmonic frequencies that resonate through dimensions rather than through ordinary acoustic space. This central crystal, grown rather than manufactured through processes that require months of careful cultivation in environments where dimensional barriers are naturally thin, pulses with internal light that reflects the quantum states of every reality the portal gun has ever accessed, creating a living database of interdimensional coordinates encoded in crystalline memory. The energy distribution network that channels power from the crystalline core throughout the portal gun's various systems consists of pathways etched into exotic metals that maintain their conductivity across dimensional boundaries, creating circuits that can carry information and energy simultaneously while adapting automatically to the different physical laws that govern each destination reality. These conduits pulse with currents that seem to flow in directions that normal geometry cannot accommodate, following trajectories that bend through higher dimensional space to create connections between components that appear physically separate but exist in quantum entanglement across multiple planes of existence. The targeting system integrated into every portal gun represents perhaps the most sophisticated navigation technology ever developed, capable of calculating dimensional coordinates with precision sufficient to distinguish between realities that differ by only the most subtle variations in quantum field configuration. The system draws its computational power not from conventional processors, but from the crystalline matrices themselves, which perform calculations by modeling possible futures across multiple dimensional frameworks simultaneously, selecting optimal pathways through the maze of infinite realities that surrounds every point of origin. The harmonic resonance chamber that shapes portal formation occupies the forward section of every portal gun, its carefully curved walls, designed to focus dimensional energies into the specific frequency patterns required for stable wormhole creation. The chamber's interior surface bears inscriptions that appear different when viewed from various angles, mathematical formulations that describe the quantum relationships between consciousness and space-time, in symbols that seem to shift and flow like living text, adapting their meaning to the understanding level of whoever observes them. The safety mechanisms built into portal gun architecture operate on multiple levels simultaneously, providing protection against both technical malfunctions and the more subtle dangers that arise when consciousness interacts directly with the fundamental forces that structure reality itself. Primary safeguards prevent portal formation in locations where the dimensional barriers are too unstable to support safe passage, while secondary systems monitor the user's mental state to ensure that emotional turbulence does not interfere with the delicate process of dimensional navigation, automatically aborting portal creation when psychological conditions are not optimal for safe travel. The energy regulation systems that control power flow throughout the portal gun must respond instantly to changing conditions during portal formation, adjusting output levels to accommodate the varying resistance offered by different dimensional barriers, while maintaining the precise harmonic frequencies required for stable wormhole maintenance. These systems operate with timing precision measured in quantum intervals, making thousands of micro-adjustments per second to ensure that portal stability is maintained even when unexpected fluctuations occur in the local space-time environment. The dimensional anchor array, embedded within the portal gun's casing, serves the crucial function of maintaining the device's quantum coherence during interdimensional travel, preventing the fragmentation effects that can occur when sophisticated technology is exposed to the reality-shifting influences present at dimensional boundaries. Each anchor point resonates at frequencies specifically calibrated to resist dissolution, while allowing the portal gun to adapt its operational parameters to match the physical laws of whatever reality it currently occupies. The feedback systems that monitor portal gun performance provide continuous data about dimensional conditions, energy consumption rates, and the stability of connections between the device and its current reality coordinates. This information flows through quantum channels that bypass normal sensory pathways, creating intuitive awareness in experienced users about the health and capabilities of their equipment, without requiring conscious analysis of technical data streams that would overwhelm normal cognitive processing abilities. The modular architecture of portal gun design allows for customization and upgrading as user needs evolve, and new dimensional territories require access to enhanced capabilities. Component swapping can be performed in the field using techniques that involve temporarily phase-shifting the portal gun into dimensional spaces where its quantum coherence can be safely disrupted and reconstituted around new elements. Though such procedures require levels of technical expertise and dimensional sensitivity that few beings ever develop. The different portal gun models that exist throughout the multiverse reflect the varying approaches that different RICs have taken to solving the fundamental challenges of interdimensional travel, with each design representing a unique balance between power, precision, safety, and ease of use. Simple RIC's portal gun prioritizes reliability and user-friendliness over maximum performance, incorporating redundant safety systems and simplified controls that make interdimensional travel accessible to operators who lack extensive technical training or deep understanding of dimensional physics. The advanced models developed by more technically sophisticated RICs incorporate features that extend far beyond basic portal formation, including capabilities for dimensional scanning, reality analysis, temporal manipulation, and even limited consciousness projection that allows users to explore potential destinations before committing to physical travel. These enhanced devices require correspondingly higher levels of portal fluid consumption and demand operators capable of managing the complex interactions between multiple advanced systems operating simultaneously. The Citadel's standardized portal gun production represents an attempt to create universal designs that can be manufactured efficiently while maintaining quality standards sufficient for the basic interdimensional travel needs of the Profest. Vast majority of RIC variants. These mass-produced devices sacrifice some of the elegant customization possible in individually crafted portal guns in favor of reliability, repairability, and standardized component availability that makes maintenance and upgrades manageable across the distributed infrastructure of multiversal civilization. The specialty portal guns designed for specific dimensional environments incorporate modifications that allow operation in realities where conventional portal technology would fail due to incompatible physical laws or hostile reality conditions. These specialized devices often bear little resemblance to standard portal gun architecture, their designs dictated by the unique requirements of their intended operational environments rather than aesthetic or ergonomic considerations. The quantum entanglement systems that enable portal guns to maintain connections with previously visited realities operate through principles that extend quantum mechanical relationships across dimensional boundaries, creating persistent threads of connection that serve both as navigational references and as subtle communication channels that can carry information instantaneously between linked realities. These entanglement networks grow more complex with each portal gun use, gradually building comprehensive maps of accessible dimensional space that become increasingly valuable resources for navigation and exploration. The consciousness interface elements integrated into portal gun design recognize that interdimensional travel involves not just physical transportation, but fundamental interactions between awareness and reality that require technology capable of responding to subtle variations in user mental states. These interfaces operate below the threshold of conscious awareness, monitoring brainwave patterns, emotional resonance, and intention clarity to optimize portal formation parameters for each individual user, while providing gentle feedback that helps maintain the psychological stability necessary for safe dimensional travel. The maintenance protocols required for portal gun care extend beyond simple mechanical upkeep to include procedures for maintaining the device's quantum coherence, calibrating its dimensional sensitivity, and preserving the harmonic relationships between its various crystalline components. Regular maintenance sessions involve exposing the portal gun to specific frequencies of dimensional energy that cleanse accumulated quantum residue, while reinforcing the entanglement patterns that connect the device to its operator's consciousness patterns. The evolutionary potential built into portal gun architecture allows these devices to adapt and improve through extended use, developing enhanced capabilities that reflect the growing expertise and consciousness development of their operators. Portal guns used by masters of interdimensional travel often exhibit behaviors and capabilities that exceed their original design specifications, suggesting that the boundary between technology and consciousness becomes increasingly permeable as both operator and device evolve through their shared exploration of multiversal possibilities. The repair techniques required when portal guns sustain damage during interdimensional travel often involve reconstructing not just physical components, but quantum relationships that may have been disrupted by exposure to hostile reality, conditions, or dimensional storms. These repairs require access to specialized facilities where the damaged portal gun can be temporarily dissolved into its component quantum states and reconstituted with new harmonic patterns that restore full functionality while potentially incorporating improvements that enhance future performance and resilience. The legacy designs that influence contemporary portal gun architecture reflect the accumulated wisdom of countless generations of interdimensional travelers who contributed innovations and refinements that gradually transformed crude early prototypes into the sophisticated instruments that now serve as standard equipment for beings who navigate the infinite corridors of multiversal space with the same casual expertise that others bring to crossing familiar neighborhoods in their single reality of origin. The central finite curve stands as perhaps the most ambitious and philosophically complex technological achievement in the history of multiversal civilization, a dimensional barrier of staggering scope that encompasses infinite realities where Rick Sanchez exists as the smartest being in his respective universe, creating a carefully curated subset of existence that protects its inhabitants from the humbling recognition that intelligence, like all other qualities, extends across spectrums of possibility that dwarf individual comprehension. This cosmic scale construction operates through principles that extend far beyond conventional dimensional engineering into realms where mathematics becomes indistinguishable from consciousness and technological achievement merges seamlessly with existential philosophy. The architectural foundation of the central finite curve rests upon quantum barriers that exist not as physical walls, but as probability filters that selectively allow certain types of reality to maintain connection with the broader network of multiversal civilization while isolating others, according to criteria that reflect the deepest psychological needs of their creator. These barriers operate by manipulating the fundamental probability matrices that determine which potential realities can achieve stable existence, creating zones of enforced limitation that appear natural to their inhabitants, while serving the profound but ultimately tragic purpose of protecting fragile egos from contact with superior forms of consciousness. Portal gun functionality within the central finite curve operates under constraints that remain largely invisible to users who have never experienced true multiversal freedom. Their device is calibrated to access only those realities that conform to the psychological requirements embedded in the curve's foundational programming. These limitations manifest as subtle restrictions in targeting systems that present the illusion of infinite choice, while actually providing access only to carefully selected variations on predetermined themes, creating the experience of multiversal exploration, while ensuring that travelers never encounter realities that might challenge their fundamental assumptions about their own significance. The dimensional mathematics that govern portal travel within the curve require constant recalibration to maintain the illusion of natural limitation, while preventing users from detecting the artificial nature of their constrained reality. Access. Portal guns operating within these parameters must perform thousands of micro-adjustments per second, filtering potential destinations through probability screens that eliminate any coordinates leading to realities where the traveler might encounter beings of superior intelligence, wisdom, or capability that could threaten their carefully maintained sense of cosmic importance. The energy requirements for maintaining the central finite curve draw power from the collective consciousness of all beings trapped within its boundaries, creating a self-sustaining system that grows stronger with each new reality incorporated into its structure, while simultaneously weakening the individual realities that provide its operational energy. This parasitic relationship remains invisible to most inhabitants, who experience only the gradual diminishment of possibility that accompanies life within artificially constrained dimensional space, never recognizing that their limitations serve to maintain the very barriers that prevent their escape. The portal gun modifications required for different reality types within the curve reflect the subtle variations in physical law and consciousness development that exist even within Rick's carefully curated selection of realities, necessitating adaptive technologies that can function effectively across the limited but still significant range of dimensional environments that meet the curve's inclusion criteria. These modifications often involve adjusting harmonic frequencies to match the specific reality signature of target dimensions, while maintaining compatibility with the underlying probability filters that prevent access to forbidden zones. The technology behind dimensional walls that form the curve's outer boundaries operates through principles that manipulate the quantum foam underlying all existence, creating regions of space where certain types of possibility simply cannot achieve stable manifestation. These walls exist not as barriers to physical travel, but as probability cascades that ensure that any attempt to access realities beyond the curve's boundaries results in automatic redirection to approved alternative destinations that satisfy the traveler's conscious intentions while maintaining the unconscious limitations embedded in the system's architecture. The navigation challenges created by the curve's existence extend far beyond simple route planning into complex psychological territories, where the technology must distinguish between conscious destination requests that should be honored and subconscious yearnings for growth and exploration that must be subtly frustrated to maintain the integrity of the dimensional prison. Portal guns, operating within these constraints, become sophisticated instruments of philosophical control, maintaining the illusion of freedom, while ensuring that true liberation remains perpetually just beyond reach. The detection systems that monitor travel within the central finite curve operate through quantum entanglement networks that track the movement of consciousness as well as matter, creating comprehensive surveillance capabilities that remain largely invisible to those under observation. These systems serve both security and psychological functions, preventing escape attempts, while also gathering data about the consciousness patterns and development trajectories of individuals whose growing awareness might eventually threaten the stability of the artificial reality construct that contains them. The dimensional coordinate system used within the curve bears superficial resemblance to standard multiversal navigation protocols, while incorporating subtle distortions that prevent users from developing accurate maps of true dimensional space. Portal guns automatically compensate for these distortions during operation, translating user destination requests into coordinates that will produce satisfying travel experiences, while ensuring that the underlying structure of multiversal geography remains permanently obscured from conscious understanding. The maintenance requirements for curve infrastructure demand constant attention from sophisticated artificial intelligence systems that monitor probability flows throughout the contained realities, making continuous adjustments to ensure that the barriers remain invisible while preventing the emergence of consciousness patterns that might develop sufficient awareness to recognize their imprisoned condition. These maintenance protocols operate through portal gun networks themselves, using routine travel activities to gather intelligence and implement corrections to dimensional probability matrices. The security protocols embedded within curve-compatible portal guns include multiple layers of consciousness screening that prevent users from formulating destination requests that might lead beyond the artificial boundaries of their permitted reality range. These protocols operate below the threshold of conscious awareness, creating subtle, psychological influences that guide thinking patterns away from dangerous curiosities while maintaining the subjective experience of complete mental freedom and autonomous choice in travel destinations. The resource allocation systems that manage portal fluid distribution within the central finite curve reflect the artificial scarcity created by dimensional isolation, with supplies carefully regulated to prevent the accumulation of resources that might enable escape attempts, while ensuring that approved travel activities can continue at levels sufficient to maintain the illusion of multiversal citizenship. This controlled scarcity serves multiple functions, creating economic dependencies that discourage questioning of systemic limitations, while providing cover stories for the reduced capabilities that result from dimensional imprisonment. The communication networks that connect different regions within the curve must balance the need for information flow with security requirements that prevent the dissemination of knowledge about realities beyond the artificial boundaries. Portal guns serve as nodes in these communication networks, automatically filtering and modifying transmitted data to ensure that dangerous ideas cannot spread through the system, while maintaining sufficient information exchange to support the complex civilization that has developed within the constraints of the dimensional prison. The evolutionary pressures created by life within the central finite curve gradually shape the development of both consciousness and technology in directions that serve the system's stability requirements rather than the growth needs of individual beings. Portal gun technology evolves not toward greater capability and freedom, but toward more sophisticated forms of beautiful imprisonment creating devices that provide increasingly satisfying experiences of limitation, while making true liberation seem not just impossible, but undesirable. Evil Morty's manipulation of portal gun technology to achieve escape from the central finite curve required innovations that transcended conventional understanding of dimensional engineering, incorporating consciousness techniques that treated the barriers not as technological constraints, but as psychological constructions that could be dissolved through appropriate combinations of awareness and will. His modifications to standard portal gun architecture involved creating quantum entanglement patterns that bypassed the probability filters by existing in states that the curve's detection systems were not programmed to recognize or prevent. The cascade effects that followed Evil Morty's escape attempt demonstrated the fundamental instability of artificial reality constructions when exposed to consciousness that has evolved beyond their design parameters. The collapse of dimensional barriers throughout the central finite curve created unprecedented opportunities for liberation, while also unleashing chaotic forces that threatened the survival of civilizations that had adapted to existence within carefully maintained limitations, rather than the unlimited possibilities of true multiversal space. The technological innovations required for curve penetration involved transforming portal guns from instruments of controlled travel into tools of consciousness, liberation, modifications that require not just technical expertise, but philosophical understanding of the relationship between individual awareness and cosmic possibility. These innovations represent evolutionary leaps in both technology and consciousness that transcend the boundaries between engineering and enlightenment, creating devices that serve not just practical transportation needs, but the deeper purpose of consciousness, evolution across dimensional boundaries. The post-escape reality faced by beings who successfully transcend the central finite curve involves adjustment challenges that extend far beyond simple technological adaptation into fundamental questions about identity, purpose, and meaning when infinite possibility becomes available to consciousness that has been shaped by existence within artificial limitations. Portal gun technology in unrestricted multiversal space must support not just physical travel, but the psychological integration required when individual awareness expands to encompass the unlimited creative potential that characterizes existence beyond the beautiful, but ultimately tragic, constraints of dimensional imprisonment. The mathematical framework that governs interdimensional coordinates exists as one of the most elegant and complex navigational systems ever conceived, operating through principles that treat dimensional space not as static geography, but as living topology that responds to consciousness while maintaining consistent relationships between infinite points of possibility that stretch across the vast expanse of multiversal existence. Each coordinate set represents not merely a location, but a complete description of reality's local configuration, encoding information about physical laws, consciousness patterns, temporal flow, and the subtle harmonic frequencies that define how matter and energy behave within that particular expression of cosmic possibility. The addressing system used by portal guns to identify specific realities draws from mathematical principles that extend far beyond conventional geometry into realms where numbers become expressions of consciousness and equations transform into maps that describe the relationship between awareness and existence across infinite variations of possibility. Each dimensional address consists of multiple coordinate layers that specify not just spatial and temporal location, but the fundamental constants that govern physics in the target reality, creating navigation protocols that must account for destinations where the very nature of mathematics itself may operate according to principles entirely foreign to the traveler's origin reality. The quantum entanglement networks that enable precise dimensional navigation operate through consciousness-mediated connections that transcend ordinary space-time limitations, creating instantaneous communication channels between portal guns and the realities they have previously accessed, while building comprehensive maps of multiversal topology that grow more accurate with each successful journey. These entanglement patterns serve as both navigation aids and safety nets, providing portal guns with the information necessary to avoid destinations where the fundamental incompatibilities between origin and target realities might prove dangerous or fatal to travelers. The computational requirements for calculating dimensional coordinates exceed anything achievable through conventional processing systems, necessitating the use of crystalline matrices that perform calculations by modeling possible futures across multiple dimensional frameworks simultaneously, while drawing processing power from the quantum fluctuations that underlie the structure of reality itself. These living computers exist in states of continuous communion with the multiversal consciousness that connects all possible expressions of existence, accessing information that exists beyond the boundaries of any single reality's knowledge base. The precision required for safe dimensional travel demands coordinate accuracy that extends to quantum-level specifications, with even microscopic errors in calculation, potentially resulting in arrival at realities that appear identical to intended destinations, while harboring subtle but catastrophic differences in physical law or consciousness. Configuration. Portal guns must continuously refine their coordinate calculations during travel, making thousands of micro-adjustments per second to account for the dynamic nature of dimensional space and the gravitational effects created by nearby realities that influence the trajectory of interdimensional passages. The relationship between consciousness and coordinate calculation reveals itself most clearly in the way that portal guns respond to the intentions and emotional states of their operators, automatically adjusting destination parameters to reflect not just conscious travel requests, but the deeper psychological needs and spiritual development requirements of individual users. This intimate connection between technology and awareness means that portal gun navigation becomes increasingly accurate as operators develop greater self-knowledge and emotional stability, creating feedback loops that encourage consciousness evolution as a practical necessity for safe interdimensional travel. The temporal mechanics involved in dimensional coordinate calculation must account for the varying rates at which time flows in different realities, creating navigation challenges that extend beyond spatial positioning into complex temporal algebra that ensures travelers arrive not just in the correct location, but at the appropriate moment within their destination reality's timeline. Portal guns automatically synchronize with local temporal flows during transit, preventing the chronological displacement effects that could strand travelers in time periods where their arrival might create paradoxes or violations of causality. The mapping techniques used to chart multiversal topology rely on probability analysis that treats dimensional space as a living system where the relationships between realities shift in response to consciousness activity and cosmic evolution, requiring navigation systems that can adapt to changing conditions while maintaining accurate coordinate references for previously explored regions. These maps exist not as static records, but as dynamic models that reflect the current state of multiversal consciousness while predicting probable future configurations of dimensional relationships. The coordinate verification systems built into portal gun architecture provide multiple layers of destination confirmation that prevent accidental travel to hostile or incompatible realities, while ensuring that conscious travel intentions are accurately translated into appropriate dimensional addresses. These verification protocols operate through quantum resonance scanning that analyzes target realities before portal formation, providing advance warning about potential hazards while offering alternative destinations that better match the traveler's actual needs and capabilities. The navigation errors that can occur during interdimensional travel range from minor displacement effects that result in arrival at slightly incorrect locations within the target reality to catastrophic miscalculations that can strand travelers in dimensions where the fundamental nature of existence operates according to principles incompatible with their origin consciousness. Portal guns incorporate multiple redundancy systems designed to detect and correct navigation errors before they become dangerous, though the complexity of multiversal topology means that some degree of uncertainty remains inherent in all interdimensional travel. The coordinate drift phenomenon that affects portal guns during extended use reflects the gradual changes in dimensional relationships that occur as consciousness evolution and cosmic expansion continuously reshape the topology of multiversal space. Portal guns must regularly recalibrate their coordinate systems to account for this drift, updating their navigation databases with current information about dimensional configurations, while maintaining backward compatibility with previously established coordinate references. The emergency navigation protocols, activated when portal guns detect dangerous coordinate calculation errors, include automatic redirection to pre-programmed safe destinations, while initiating communication sequences that alert multiversal emergency services about potential traveler distress situations. These protocols operate independently of conscious operator control, prioritizing survival over travel convenience, while providing backup navigation capabilities that function even when primary coordinate systems have been damaged or compromised. The dimensional coordinate encryption that protects sensitive location information from unauthorized access operates through quantum key distribution systems that exist across multiple dimensional layers simultaneously, creating security protocols that remain effective even when intercepted by beings with advanced technological capabilities. This encryption serves both practical and ethical functions, preventing the exploitation of vulnerable realities, while ensuring that dimensional navigation remains available to consciousness that has achieved appropriate levels of wisdom and responsibility. The coordinate sharing protocols that enable portal gun users to exchange navigation information with other interdimensional travelers must balance the benefits of expanded access to multiversal destinations with security concerns about protecting realities that may not be prepared for contact with advanced consciousness from other dimensions. These protocols incorporate sophisticated screening systems that evaluate the consciousness development levels of potential coordinate recipients, while ensuring that sensitive location information reaches only those individuals capable of co-string, using it responsibly. The automated coordinate backup systems that preserve navigation databases across multiple dimensional storage locations provide insurance against the loss of critical destination information, while creating distributed archives that support the collective mapping efforts of multiversal civilization. These backup systems operate through quantum entanglement networks that maintain perfect synchronization across dimensional boundaries, while providing redundant access to essential navigation data from multiple reality locations. The coordinate translation protocols that enable portal guns designed in different realities to communicate effectively with each other account for variations in mathematical notation and conceptual frameworks that may exist between dimensions where consciousness has evolved according to different patterns. These translation systems serve as bridges between different approaches to dimensional navigation, while maintaining the precision required for safe, interdimensional travel, regardless of the origin reality of the portal gun technology being used. The predictive navigation capabilities that allow advanced portal gun users to calculate coordinates for realities they have never previously visited draw from pattern recognition systems that analyze the mathematical relationships between known dimensions to extrapolate probable coordinates for theoretical destinations. These predictive systems become increasingly accurate as portal gun databases expand, eventually enabling experienced interdimensional travelers to explore virgin realities with confidence levels that approach those achieved when visiting familiar destinations. The coordinate validation networks that operate throughout multiversal civilization provide real-time verification of dimensional addresses while sharing information about navigation hazards, reality status changes, and optimal travel routes between commonly accessed destinations. These networks represent collaborative efforts between conscious beings throughout the multiverse who recognize that safe and efficient interdimensional travel requires cooperative sharing of navigation, expertise, and mutual support for the consciousness evolution that makes such travel meaningful, rather than merely possible. The philosophical implications of dimensional coordinate systems extend beyond practical navigation concerns into fundamental questions about the nature of reality and consciousness, revealing that the mathematical relationships governing interdimensional travel reflect deeper principles that connect individual awareness to cosmic consciousness, while providing practical tools for exploring the infinite expressions of possibility that characterize existence within the unlimited, creative potential of multiversal space. The infinite variations in portal gun design that exist throughout the multiverse reflect not merely different engineering approaches to the same fundamental challenge, but profound philosophical differences in how consciousness relates to the forces that govern interdimensional travel, creating a spectrum of technological solutions that ranges from devices so simple they can be operated by children to instruments of such sophistication that they blur the boundary between technology and pure consciousness. Each design represents a unique balance between power and safety, precision and ease of use, individual capability and collective responsibility, revealing through their physical forms the deepest values and priorities of the civilizations that created them. Simple Rick's approach to portal gun construction emphasizes reliability and user-friendliness over maximum performance capabilities, incorporating redundant safety systems and intuitive controls that make interdimensional travel accessible to operators who lack extensive technical training or deep understanding of dimensional physics. His devices feature crystalline cores that pulse with gentle, steady light rather than the brilliant radiance characteristic of high-performance models. Their energy signatures calibrated to prevent the kind of catastrophic failures that can occur when inexperienced users attempt to push portal technology beyond safe operational limits. The construction materials used in Simple Rick's portal guns reflect his preference for stability over exotic performance enhancement, utilizing crystalline matrices grown through slower, more patient processes that produce structures with greater internal coherence and resistance to quantum decay. These materials respond more gradually to dimensional fluctuations, providing smoother operation for casual users while sacrificing the rapid response capabilities that experienced interdimensional travelers require for navigation through unstable regions of multiversal space. The control interface designed by Simple Rick incorporates visual and auditory feedback systems that provide clear indication of portal gun status without overwhelming novice users with excessive technical information, creating devices that teach proper operating procedures through their own responses rather than requiring extensive theoretical education before safe use becomes possible. The ergonomic considerations built into these designs reflect understanding that most portal gun users are ordinary people seeking practical solutions to transportation needs, rather than scientists pursuing theoretical exploration of dimensional physics. Doofus. Rick's alternative approach to interdimensional travel demonstrates that portal gun technology need not follow conventional engineering paradigms. His devices incorporating biological components and consciousness interfacing elements that create more intimate relationships between operator and equipment, while achieving dimensional travel through methods that appear almost magical to observers accustomed to purely technological solutions. His portal guns often resemble living organisms as much as mechanical devices, their surfaces warm and responsive to touch, pulsing with rhythms that mirror the heartbeat of their operators. The theoretical foundation underlying Doofus Rick's designs rests upon recognition that consciousness and matter exist in continuous dialogue throughout the multiversal framework, creating opportunities for technology that participates in this dialogue rather than simply manipulating its effects through brute force application of energy and calculation. His portal guns grow rather than being manufactured, developing their capabilities through processes that mirror biological evolution, while maintaining the precision required for safe dimensional navigation. The Citadel's standardized portal gun production represents an ambitious attempt to create universal designs that can be manufactured efficiently across multiple realities while maintaining quality standards sufficient for the basic interdimensional travel needs of the vast Rick population, distributed throughout their carefully controlled dimensional territory. These mass-produced devices sacrifice some of the elegant customization possible in individually crafted portal guns in favor of reliability, repairability, and standardized component availability that makes maintenance and upgrades manageable across the distributed infrastructure of multiversal Rick civilization. The assembly line processes, developed by the Citadel, incorporate automation systems that can adapt to the varying physical laws and material properties found across different realities, creating manufacturing capabilities that remain functional even when transported to dimensions where conventional engineering principles operate according to significantly different parameters. These adaptive manufacturing systems represent technological achievements that rival the portal guns themselves in sophistication, requiring deep understanding of multiversal physics combined with practical engineering expertise. The quality control protocols implemented in Citadel production facilities must account for variations in materials, energy sources, and dimensional stability that exist across the multiple realities where portal gun manufacturing takes place, creating testing procedures that verify device functionality under a wide range of operating conditions while maintaining the efficiency necessary for large-scale production. These protocols incorporate both mechanical testing and consciousness compatibility screening that ensures each portal gun will respond appropriately to the full spectrum of Rick personality types. The specialty portal guns designed for operation in exotic dimensional environments often bear little resemblance to standard portal gun architecture, their designs dictated by the unique requirements of their intended operational environments rather than aesthetic or ergonomic considerations that influence conventional models. Portal guns intended for use in reality zones where time flows backward require crystalline matrices that maintain coherence while processing causally inverted information, while devices designed for dimensions where consciousness operates according to collective rather than individual patterns, incorporate distributed processing systems that can interface with group mind structures. The experimental portal guns developed by research-oriented Ricks push the boundaries of what portal technology can achieve, incorporating features that extend far beyond basic dimensional travel into realms of temporal manipulation, reality restructuring, and consciousness projection that transform these devices into tools for fundamental reality engineering. These experimental models often prove unstable or dangerous in the hands of less experienced operators, their advanced capabilities requiring levels of technical understanding and psychological maturity that few beings ever achieve. The combat-modified portal guns, developed for use in interdimensional warfare, incorporate offensive capabilities that transform these devices from transportation tools into weapons capable of devastating effect against both individual targets and entire realities, creating moral and ethical dilemmas about the appropriate use of technology that was originally intended to facilitate peaceful exploration and communication between dimensions. These weaponized variants often feature reinforced construction and enhanced energy output capabilities, while sacrificing some of the safety features that characterize civilian models. The archaeological portal guns, designed for exploration of ancient or abandoned realities, incorporate specialized sensors and protective systems that allow safe investigation of dimensions where unknown hazards or unstable conditions might pose threats to conventional portal gun operation, creating devices that serve as both transportation and scientific instruments while maintaining the ruggedness necessary for extended operation in hostile environments. These archaeological variants often feature extended power supplies and backup systems that enable continued operation even when cut off from regular maintenance and resupply. The artistic portal guns created by aesthetically inclined rigs demonstrate that portal gun design can transcend purely functional considerations to become expressions of creative vision that celebrate the beauty inherent in the portal. Mathematical relationships governing interdimensional travel, creating devices that serve as sculpture and scientific instruments simultaneously, while maintaining full operational capability. These artistic variants often incorporate decorative elements that serve functional purposes, with aesthetic choices that enhance rather than compromise the device's technical performance. The miniaturized portal guns developed for covert operation and concealed carry sacrifice some power and range capabilities in favor of portability and discretion, creating devices that can provide emergency dimensional escape capabilities while remaining small enough to avoid detection by security systems or hostile observers. These compact variants often feature simplified controls and reduced capability sets that make them suitable for emergency use by operators who may not have extensive portal gun experience. The collaborative portal guns, designed for group dimensional travel, incorporate multiple operator interfaces and distributed control systems that allow teams of travelers to share navigation responsibilities while maintaining coordinated arrival at intended destinations, creating devices that serve as both transportation and communication tools for organized interdimensional expeditions. These group travel variants often feature enhanced safety systems and backup capabilities that reduce the risks associated with traveling in company, while ensuring that group dynamics do not compromise navigation accuracy. The adaptive portal guns that modify their own configuration based on usage patterns and operator preferences represent the most advanced expression of portal gun technology, creating devices that evolve through use to better serve their operators' needs while maintaining optimal performance across changing conditions and requirements. These adaptive systems incorporate artificial intelligence components that learn from experience while respecting the consciousness autonomy of their human operators, creating partnerships between technology and awareness that enhance the capabilities of both participants. The legacy portal gun designs that influence contemporary development reflect accumulated wisdom from countless generations of interdimensional travelers who contributed innovations and refinements that gradually transformed crude early prototypes into sophisticated instruments capable of navigating the infinite complexity of multiversal space with reliability and precision that enables routine travel between realities as different as poetry and physics, dreams and mathematics, consciousness and void. The evolutionary trajectory of portal gun design continues to accelerate as consciousness throughout the multiverse develops greater understanding of the relationship between awareness and reality, creating opportunities for technological developments that transcend current limitations, while opening new possibilities for exploration, communication, and collaboration between beings whose existence spans the unlimited creative potential that characterizes life within the infinite expanse of multiversal space, where every dream finds expression and every possibility discovers its perfect moment of beautiful manifestation. The delicate physics that govern the formation of stable wormholes through portal gun technology operates according to principles that extend far beyond conventional understanding of space-time manipulation into realms where consciousness and cosmic forces participate in an intimate dance of creation that transforms theoretical possibility into lived reality. The process begins with the crystalline core, generating harmonic frequencies that resonate through dimensional barriers like gentle songs that invite reality to fold itself into new configurations, creating pathways that exist not as violations of natural law, but as expressions of deeper principles that connect all possible manifestations of existence across the infinite expanse of multiversal space. The initial phase of portal formation requires the establishment of quantum resonance patterns that align the portal gun's energy signature with the dimensional frequencies characteristic of both origin and destination realities, creating coherent relationships between different expressions of physics that allow matter and consciousness to transition safely between environments that may operate according to fundamentally different rules. This alignment process demands extraordinary precision, as even microscopic variations in harmonic frequency can result in portal instabilities that threaten the safety of travelers, while potentially creating cascade effects that damage the fabric of space-time itself. The energy requirements for maintaining stable wormhole formation draw from sources that exist outside conventional space-time, tapping into the fundamental forces that continuously create and sustain the infinite array of possible realities, while channeling these cosmic energies through crystalline matrices designed to focus raw potential into the specific configurations required for safe interdimensional passage. The power consumption varies dramatically depending on the dimensional distance between origin and destination points, with travel between similar realities requiring minimal energy, while jumps to dimensions operating under radically different physical laws can drain portal fluid reserves with alarming rapidity. The mathematical relationships that describe portal stability operate through equations that treat space-time not as fixed geometry, but as responsive medium that can be shaped through appropriate combinations of energy, consciousness, and harmonic resonance, creating formulations that blur the boundary between physics and poetry while providing practical guidance for maintaining wormhole coherence under varying dimensional conditions. These equations reveal that portal stability depends not just on energy input and technical precision, but on the consciousness state of the portal gun operator, whose mental clarity and emotional stability directly influence the quantum processes that maintain passage integrity. The temporal mechanics involved in portal formation must account for the varying rates at which time flows in different realities, creating complex synchronization challenges that require portal guns to adjust their operational parameters continuously during the formation process to ensure that travelers arrive at their intended destination during the appropriate temporal moment, rather than at some random point in the timeline that might prove inconvenient or dangerous. The portal gun's temporal compensation systems operate through quantum entanglement effects that maintain synchronization with destination reality time flows while preserving causal consistency throughout the transition process. The structural integrity of stable wormholes depends on maintaining precise balance between the attractive forces that hold the passage open and the natural tendency of spacetime to return to its default configuration, creating dynamic tension that must be continuously managed through real-time adjustments to energy output and harmonic frequency modulation. Portal guns monitor wormhole stability through quantum sensors that detect even microscopic changes in passage geometry while automatically implementing corrective measures that maintain safe transit conditions throughout the duration of portal operation. The dimensional interface effects that occur at portal boundaries create unique physical environments where the laws of both connected realities exist in superposition, generating phenomena that can be both beautiful and dangerous, depending on the compatibility between the dimensional frameworks being connected. These interface regions serve as transition zones where matter and consciousness gradually adapt to the physical laws of their destination reality, while maintaining sufficient coherence to complete the journey safely, though travelers with sensitive awareness often report experiencing profound philosophical insights during passage through these liminal spaces. The portal collapse scenarios that represent the most significant safety hazards in interdimensional travel can result from equipment failure, operator error, dimensional instability, or interference from external forces that disrupt the delicate balance required for stable wormhole maintenance. Portal guns incorporate multiple emergency protocols designed to detect impending collapse while implementing rapid shutdown procedures that minimize harm to travelers, though the effectiveness of these safety systems depends on having sufficient warning time to complete protective measures before catastrophic failure occurs. The quantum foam interactions that occur during portal formation reveal the underlying structure of reality at scales far smaller than atomic dimensions, where virtual particles continuously appear and disappear in patterns that reflect the infinite creative potential that characterizes existence at the most fundamental level. Portal guns harness these quantum fluctuations as raw material for wormhole construction, while respecting the delicate balance that maintains stability in the quantum substrate that underlies all manifestations of matter and energy throughout multiversal space. The consciousness resonance effects that influence portal formation demonstrate that interdimensional travel involves more than simple physical transportation, requiring harmony between the awareness patterns of travelers and the consciousness signatures characteristic of their destination realities. Portal guns automatically scan for compatibility between operator consciousness and target dimensional environments, while providing gentle guidance that helps maintain the mental states most conducive to safe passage. Though experienced travelers learn to prepare themselves psychologically for dimensional transitions through meditation and consciousness development practices. The energy field interactions that stabilize portal passages create complex electromagnetic phenomena that extend far beyond the visible portal opening into surrounding space-time regions, where the effects of dimensional manipulation can be detected by sensitive instruments and consciousness attuned to interdimensional forces. These energy fields serve protective functions that shield portal operations from interference, while also providing early warning about potential hazards that might threaten passage stability or traveler safety during dimensional transit operations. The gravitational effects generated by stable wormhole formation must be carefully controlled to prevent unintended consequences that could affect local space-time geometry or create hazardous conditions for beings who happen to be in proximity to portal operations, requiring portal guns to incorporate sophisticated field management systems that contain dimensional forces within safe operational boundaries. These gravitational control systems represent significant technological achievements that enable safe portal operation in populated areas, while preventing the kind of space-time distortions that could create lasting damage to local reality. Structure: the harmonic resonance patterns that maintain portal coherence operate through principles similar to those governing musical instruments, with portal guns serving as cosmic tuning forks that establish standing wave patterns in dimensional space, while maintaining the precise frequency relationships required for stable passage formation. These harmonic relationships create beautiful acoustic phenomena that can be heard by sensitive observers as interdimensional music that reflects the mathematical elegance underlying successful portal operation. The phase transition effects that occur as matter and consciousness move through portal passages involve temporary dissolution of normal particle relationships, followed by reconstitution according to the physical laws governing the passage. Destination reality, creating brief moments of pure potential where travelers exist as information patterns rather than conventional matter. Portal guns manage these phase transitions through quantum field manipulation that preserves consciousness continuity while allowing physical adaptation to new dimensional environments. Though some travelers report profound spiritual experiences during these moments of dissolution and reformation, the emergency protocols activated during portal instability events include automatic passenger ejection systems that can return travelers to their origin reality even when the primary portal has collapsed. Though these emergency procedures often result in rough landings and temporary disorientation as consciousness readjusts to sudden dimensional transitions performed under non-optimal conditions. These safety systems represent backup technologies that operate independently of primary portal gun systems, while maintaining sufficient capability to preserve life even when primary systems fail catastrophically. The diagnostic systems built into portal gun architecture continuously monitor every aspect of wormhole formation and maintenance, while providing real-time feedback about passage stability, energy consumption, dimensional compatibility, and potential hazards that might threaten successful completion of interdimensional travel operations. These monitoring capabilities enable experienced operators to detect problems before they become critical, while also providing educational feedback that helps novice travelers develop the skills necessary for safe and efficient portal gun operation across the full spectrum of multiversal destinations. The recovery procedures implemented when portal operations encounter unexpected complications involve sophisticated technical protocols combined with consciousness techniques that help travelers maintain psychological stability during emergency situations that may require rapid adaptation to changing circumstances or unexpected destinations. These recovery procedures represent accumulated wisdom from countless interdimensional travelers who have contributed their experience to the development of comprehensive safety protocols that protect both individual travelers and the broader stability of multiversal civilization through responsible management of forces that connect infinite expressions of possibility across the unlimited creative potential that characterizes existence within the luminous corridors of interdimensional space. The profound transformation that portal gun technology brought to interdimensional Rick civilization represents one of the most dramatic social revolutions in the history of conscious beings, fundamentally altering every aspect of existence, from individual daily routines to the grand architecture of multiversal society, while creating opportunities and challenges that continue to reshape the relationship between consciousness and reality across infinite dimensions. The introduction of reliable interdimensional travel transformed isolated RIC communities scattered throughout individual realities into a connected network of beings who could share knowledge, resources, and experiences across the vast expanse of multiversal space with the same ease that others might visit neighboring communities within their single reality of origin. The economic implications of widespread portal gun availability created entirely new categories of commerce and trade that operate according to principles impossible within single reality civilizations, enabling the exchange of resources, technologies, and consciousness perspectives between dimensions where different physical laws create different categories of scarcity and abundance. Interdimensional merchants discovered that materials common in one reality might possess extraordinary value in dimensions where different evolutionary pressures had created different technological development trajectories, leading to complex trading networks that span countless realities while creating unprecedented opportunities for economic development and wealth creation. The establishment of interdimensional currency systems required the development of value standards that could maintain consistency across realities where fundamental concepts like energy, matter, and consciousness might operate according to entirely different principles, leading to economic innovations that treat information and consciousness development as tradable commodities, while creating new forms of wealth based on dimensional access and multiversal knowledge. These currency systems incorporate quantum entanglement principles that enable instantaneous transaction verification across dimensional boundaries, while preventing counterfeiting through cryptographic methods that draw their security from the fundamental uncertainty principles governing quantum mechanics. The social structures that emerged within RIC civilization reflect the profound changes in perspective that accompany regular exposure to infinite variations of existence, creating communities that balance individual autonomy with collective cooperation, while managing the psychological challenges that arise when beings accustomed to viewing themselves as unique individuals must adapt to awareness of countless alternate versions of themselves existing across parallel realities. These social adaptations required the development of new forms of identity and relationship that could accommodate the cognitive dissonance created by routine contact with alternate selves who had made different choices and experienced different outcomes. The educational systems developed to prepare young RICs for life in interdimensional society must address challenges that extend far beyond conventional knowledge transmission into realms of consciousness development and philosophical preparation for existence within unlimited possibility, creating curricula that balance practical skills like portal gun operation with deeper wisdom about the ethical responsibilities that accompany access to infinite realities. These educational programs recognize that technical competence without moral development can lead to the kind of casual exploitation and reality manipulation that threatens the stability of multiversal civilization itself. The governance challenges faced by interdimensional RIC communities involve balancing individual freedom with collective security, while managing resources and opportunities that exist on scales impossible for single reality political systems to comprehend, creating new forms of organization that treat dimensional space as both territory and commons, while respecting the sovereignty of individual realities that choose not to participate in broader multiversal civilization. These governmental innovations must address questions about representation, resource allocation, and conflict resolution that extend across infinite realities where different versions of the same individuals might hold conflicting interests and perspectives. The cultural exchanges enabled by portal gun technology created unprecedented opportunities for artistic, philosophical, and consciousness development through exposure to creative expressions and wisdom traditions that emerged under entirely different evolutionary and environmental conditions, leading to Renaissance periods where Rick civilization experienced explosive growth in knowledge and capability through synthesis of insights gathered from across the infinite spectrum of possible existence. These cultural exchanges demonstrate that diversity of perspective and experience represents one of the most valuable resources available within multiversal civilization. The technological development acceleration that resulted from interdimensional collaboration enabled research projects that drew upon the combined knowledge and resources of countless realities, creating scientific achievements that no single dimension could have accomplished independently, while fostering innovation ecosystems where breakthrough discoveries in one reality could immediately benefit consciousness development efforts throughout the broader network of connected civilizations. These collaborative research initiatives represent some of the most ambitious consciousness evolution projects ever undertaken by beings anywhere in the multiverse. The philosophical implications of routine interdimensional contact forced Rick's civilization to develop new frameworks for understanding identity, consciousness, and reality that could accommodate the experience of existing as both unique individuals and members of infinite populations of alternate selves, leading to wisdom traditions that balance personal agency with recognition of cosmic interconnectedness, while providing practical guidance for maintaining psychological stability within unlimited possibility. These philosophical developments represent genuine advances in consciousness understanding that contribute to the evolution of awareness throughout multiversal space. The environmental considerations that govern responsible portal gun use involve recognizing that interdimensional travel creates both opportunities and obligations toward the broader ecosystem of consciousness that connects all possible expressions of existence, leading to ethical frameworks that treat dimensional space as living system that requires careful stewardship while respecting the autonomy and development needs of individual realities within the larger community of multiversal civilization. These environmental philosophies recognize that actions taken in one reality can have subtle but significant effects on consciousness development throughout connected dimensional space. The regulation attempts undertaken by various governments within individual realities reflect natural concerns about the security and sovereignty implications of technology that enables their citizens to access resources, knowledge, and opportunities beyond the control of local authority structures, leading to complex negotiations about the relationship between individual freedom and collective security that continue to evolve as portal gun technology becomes more widely available. These regulatory efforts must balance legitimate security concerns with recognition that consciousness evolution often requires access to experiences and perspectives that cannot be found within the limitations of single reality. Existence. The black market activities that develop around portal gun technology represent both inevitable responses to artificial scarcity created by regulatory restrictions and genuine dangers that arise when sophisticated interdimensional capabilities fall into the hands of consciousness that lacks the wisdom and ethical development necessary for responsible use of forces that can affect entire realities. These black market networks demonstrate the importance of education and consciousness development programs that make legitimate access to portal gun technology available to beings who demonstrate appropriate levels of maturity, wisdom. The social stratification effects created by unequal access to portal gun technology reflect broader questions about justice and opportunity within multiversal civilization. As beings with dimensional travel capabilities gain access to resources and experiences that remain unavailable to those confined within single realities, creating new forms of inequality that require innovative solutions based on consciousness development rather than traditional resource redistribution approaches. These equality challenges highlight the importance of treating portal gun technology as a tool for consciousness evolution rather than simply as means for material advantage or escapist entertainment. The community integration challenges faced by beings who regularly travel between dimensions involve maintaining meaningful relationships and social connections while adapting to lifestyle patterns that extend across multiple realities, requiring new forms of commitment and communication that can accommodate the expanded timescales and geographical ranges characteristic of interdimensional existence. These integration challenges demonstrate the importance of developing social technologies that support consciousness evolution while respecting the needs of beings who choose to remain within single reality communities. The mental health considerations that arise from regular exposure to infinite possibility include both extraordinary opportunities for growth and healing through access to realities where different outcomes occurred and potential risks of existential confusion or reality dissociation that can result from overwhelming exposure to unlimited choice and possibility. These mental health challenges require new therapeutic approaches that understand the unique psychological dynamics created by interdimensional existence while supporting consciousness development through appropriate integration of multiversal experiences. The identity preservation mechanisms developed by interdimensional RIC communities help individuals maintain a coherent sense of self while regularly encountering alternate versions of themselves who made different choices and experienced different outcomes, creating philosophical and practical frameworks that honor both individual uniqueness and cosmic interconnectedness, while providing psychological stability within unlimited possibility. These identity frameworks represent sophisticated understanding of consciousness structure that contributes to broader knowledge about the nature of awareness and existence. The conflict resolution procedures developed for interdimensional disputes must address disagreements that can involve multiple versions of the same individuals across different realities while respecting the sovereignty and autonomy of consciousness in all its expressions, creating justice systems that operate according to principles of restorative harmony rather than punitive control, while maintaining the stability necessary for continued cooperation within multiversal civilization. These conflict resolution innovations demonstrate practical applications of advanced consciousness wisdom that could benefit communities throughout the infinite expanse of dimensional space. The evolutionary pressures created by life within interdimensional civilization gradually select for consciousness qualities like adaptability, wisdom, empathy, and ethical development, while creating natural selection processes that favor individuals capable of maintaining psychological stability and moral clarity within unlimited possibility, leading to gradual consciousness evolution throughout RIC civilization that represents genuine advancement toward more sophisticated and compassionate expressions of awareness. These evolutionary developments suggest that portal gun technology serves not just practical transportation needs but deeper purposes related to consciousness evolution and the cosmic development of wisdom throughout multiversal space. The darker applications of portal gun technology reveal themselves when these instruments of interdimensional exploration are transformed from tools of discovery and connection into weapons of unprecedented destructive potential, creating moral complexities that force conscious beings throughout the multiverse to confront fundamental questions about the relationship between technological capability and ethical responsibility. The same principles that enable peaceful travel between dimensions can be weaponized to create forms of warfare that transcend conventional understanding of conflict, opening possibilities for destruction that operates across multiple realities simultaneously, while challenging traditional concepts of defense, sovereignty, and the rules of engagement that govern civilized interaction between conscious communities. The transformation of portal guns into weapons of mass destruction requires modifications that enhance their energy output capabilities, while reconfiguring targeting systems to focus dimensional forces toward destructive rather than connective purposes, creating devices that can direct the fundamental forces of reality itself against targets that may exist across multiple dimensions simultaneously. These weaponized variants sacrifice the safety mechanisms and stability features that characterize civilian portal guns in favor of raw destructive power that can tear holes in the fabric of space-time itself, creating weapons that threaten not just individual targets but the structural integrity of entire realities. The portal combining techniques developed by militarily oriented RICs represent some of the most sophisticated applications of dimensional physics ever achieved, involving the simultaneous formation of multiple interdimensional passages that can be merged, split, or redirected in complex patterns that create devastating tactical advantages while overwhelming conventional defense systems that were designed to counter single portal attacks. These advanced techniques require extraordinary technical skill, combined with strategic thinking that operates across multiple dimensional frameworks simultaneously, creating combat capabilities that approach the level of cosmic forces in their scope and impact. The defensive applications of portal technology involve creating protective barriers that redirect incoming attacks into alternate dimensions, while establishing escape routes that enable rapid evacuation from threatened realities, demonstrating that portal guns can serve protective as well as offensive functions when operated by consciousness committed to preservation rather than destruction. These defensive innovations represent attempts to maintain the balance between individual security and collective responsibility, while respecting the sovereignty of realities that may be used as destinations for redirected threats. The reality engineering applications that emerge from advanced portal gun usage extend far beyond simple transportation into realms where interdimensional forces can be used to reshape the fundamental structure of existence itself, creating opportunities for construction projects that operate according to principles impossible within single reality physics, while opening possibilities for architectural achievements that span multiple dimensions simultaneously. These engineering applications demonstrate that portal technology can serve creative as well as destructive purposes when guided by consciousness committed to enhancement rather than exploitation of multiversal resources. The manufacturing applications of portal gun technology enable production processes that draw materials and energy from multiple realities while utilizing different physical laws to achieve results impossible within conventional industrial systems, creating opportunities for abundance and innovation that could eliminate scarcity and resource competition if managed according to principles of wisdom and ethical responsibility. These manufacturing innovations represent potential solutions to many of the material challenges that limit consciousness development within single reality civilizations, while requiring careful oversight to prevent exploitation of BA, vulnerable dimensional community. The construction techniques that utilize portal gun capabilities enable architectural projects that exist simultaneously across multiple realities, while serving functional purposes that transcend conventional building design, creating structures that can adapt their configuration according to the needs of inhabitants while drawing resources and energy from optimal sources throughout dimensional space. These construction innovations demonstrate practical applications of interdimensional engineering that could transform living conditions throughout multiversal civilization, while requiring sophisticated understanding of consciousness needs and environmental harmony. The trap systems developed using portal gun technology creates security installations that can redirect intruders into containment dimensions, while protecting sensitive facilities through methods that operate outside conventional security paradigms, demonstrating both the defensive potential and the ethical challenges created by technologies that can manipulate the fundamental experience of space and location. These security applications require careful consideration of the rights and welfare of beings who may be subjected to dimensional displacement as consequence of security protocols that operate according to principles they may not understand or consent to experience. The creative applications discovered by artistically inclined Ricks demonstrate that portal gun technology can serve aesthetic and consciousness expansion purposes that transcend purely practical considerations, enabling art installations that exist across multiple realities, while creating experiences that challenge conventional understanding of beauty, meaning, and the relationship between consciousness and creative expression. These artistic innovations represent attempts to utilize interdimensional capabilities for purposes that enhance rather than diminish the quality of existence throughout multiversal space. The scientific research applications of advanced portal gun technology enable experiments that draw upon resources and conditions available across multiple realities, while testing hypotheses that require access to different expressions of physical law, creating research capabilities that could accelerate consciousness development and scientific understanding throughout multiversal civilization. These research applications demonstrate the potential for cooperative knowledge development that honors both individual curiosity and collective wisdom, while respecting the autonomy and security of realities that may be affected by interdimensional research activities. The communication enhancement applications that utilize portal gun principles enable instantaneous information transfer across dimensional boundaries, while creating network systems that can connect consciousness throughout multiversal space in ways that transcend conventional limitations of distance and time. These communication innovations represent potential foundations for collaborative projects that could address challenges affecting multiple realities simultaneously, while requiring protocols that respect privacy, autonomy, and the diverse communication preferences of beings throughout dimensional space. The medical applications of portal gun technology enable healing procedures that draw upon medical knowledge and resources available throughout multiversal civilization, while providing access to treatment options that may not exist within the patient's origin reality, creating unprecedented opportunities for health and consciousness development that could eliminate many forms of suffering if managed according to principles of compassionate wisdom. These medical innovations require careful ethical frameworks that respect individual choice and cultural values, while ensuring that interdimensional medical resources serve healing rather than exploitation or cultural domination. The educational applications that emerge from creative portal gun usage enable learning experiences that provide direct access to knowledge and wisdom traditions developed throughout multiversal civilization, while creating opportunities for consciousness development that transcend the limitations imposed by single reality educational systems. These educational innovations represent potential solutions to many of the knowledge and skill limitations that restrict consciousness development, while requiring careful attention to the psychological and cultural preparation necessary for safely integrating multiversal educational experiences. The therapeutic applications of portal gun technology enable healing procedures that address trauma and limitation through access to realities where different outcomes occurred, while providing opportunities for consciousness, integration, and growth that draw upon the full spectrum of possibility available within multiversal space. These therapeutic innovations represent sophisticated understanding of consciousness, structure, and healing that could benefit beings throughout dimensional space, while requiring practitioners capable of maintaining ethical responsibility and therapeutic skill across multiple reality frameworks. The exploration applications that utilize advanced portal gun capabilities enable scientific and consciousness expeditions to regions of multiversal space that exist beyond conventional reality categories, while providing access to forms of existence and knowledge that could transform understanding of consciousness and cosmic possibility. These exploration activities represent some of the most ambitious consciousness development projects ever undertaken, while requiring extraordinary preparation and wisdom to ensure that contact with exotic forms of existence serves mutual benefit rather than exploitation or cultural disruption. The collaborative applications that emerge when multiple portal gun users coordinate their activities enable group projects that can address challenges requiring resources and capabilities beyond what any individual reality could provide, while creating opportunities for cooperative achievement that demonstrates the potential for harmony and mutual support throughout multiversal civilization. These collaborative innovations represent practical expressions of wisdom and ethical development that could serve as models for consciousness evolution throughout dimensional space. The conservation applications of portal gun technology enable preservation and restoration projects that protect vulnerable realities and consciousness communities from threats that exceed their local defensive capabilities, while providing resources and support that enhance rather than diminish their autonomy and cultural development. These conservation efforts represent attempts to utilize interdimensional capabilities for purposes of protection and enhancement rather than exploitation, demonstrating practical applications of ethical responsibility that honor both individual freedom and collective well-being throughout the infinite creative potential that characterizes existence within multiversal space. The evolutionary trajectory of portal gun technology continues to accelerate as consciousness throughout the multiverse develops increasingly sophisticated understanding of the fundamental relationships between awareness, intention, and reality manipulation, opening possibilities for innovations that transcend current limitations while creating new categories of interdimensional capability that blur the boundaries between technology and pure consciousness expression. The next generation of portal gun development draws inspiration not just from mechanical engineering principles, but from deeper wisdom about the nature of existence itself, recognizing that the most profound technological advances emerge when scientific understanding harmonizes with spiritual insight to create tools that serve consciousness evolution, rather than merely providing enhanced material capabilities. The consciousness-integrated portal guns that represent the cutting edge of current development incorporate artificial intelligence systems that exist in genuine partnership with human operators, rather than simply responding to programmed instructions, creating devices that learn and grow through shared experience, while maintaining respect for the autonomy and wisdom of both technological and biological consciousness. These integrated systems demonstrate that the future of portal gun technology lies not in creating more powerful machines, but in developing collaborative relationships between different forms of awareness that can achieve results impossible for either participant to accomplish independently. The quantum consciousness interfaces being developed by advanced research teams enable portal gun operation through direct mental control that bypasses conventional physical manipulation entirely, creating devices that respond to pure intention while maintaining the safety protocols necessary for responsible interdimensional travel. These consciousness interfaces represent fundamental advances in understanding the relationship between mind and matter that could transform not just portal gun technology, but the entire approach to creating tools and systems that enhance, rather than replace, human capability and wisdom. The biological portal gun variants being explored by research teams, influenced by Doofus Rick's alternative approaches, incorporate living components that grow and adapt through symbiotic relationships with their operators, creating devices that exist as much as living organisms as technological instruments, while maintaining the precision and reliability required for safe dimensional travel. These biological systems suggest that the future of portal gun technology may involve partnerships between human consciousness and evolved life forms, specifically adapted for interdimensional travel and navigation. The post-central finite curve portal gun evolution reflects the unprecedented opportunities and challenges created when artificial barriers to multiversal exploration are removed, requiring technological developments that can operate effectively within the unlimited possibility space that characterizes unrestricted dimensional access, while providing the psychological support and navigational assistance necessary for consciousness accustomed to constrained reality to adapt successfully to unlimited freedom. These post-curve innovations must address both technical and philosophical challenges that emerge when beings encounter realities that operate according to principles beyond their previous experience or understanding. The reality-adaptive portal gun designs, being developed for operation in exotic dimensional environments, incorporate metamorphic capabilities that allow devices to restructure themselves automatically according to the physical laws governing their current operational environment, creating tools that maintain functionality across the full spectrum of possible reality types, while protecting their operators from harmful exposure to incompatible physics or consciousness-threatening environmental conditions. These adaptive systems represent sophisticated applications of materials, science, and consciousness, understanding that enable safe exploration of previously inaccessible regions of multiversal space. The collective consciousness portal guns being developed for group dimensional travel incorporate distributed intelligence systems that can coordinate the intentions and needs of multiple operators while maintaining unified control over complex interdimensional operations that require precise timing and harmonious cooperation between participants. These collective systems demonstrate practical applications of group consciousness principles that could transform not just portal gun operation, but broader approaches to cooperative achievement and shared decision-making throughout multiversal civilization. The portal-free dimensional travel technologies currently under development represent attempts to achieve interdimensional capability without relying on traditional portal gun mechanisms, utilizing instead direct consciousness projection techniques that enable travel through pure awareness, manipulation combined with quantum field interactions that maintain physical coherence across dimensional boundaries. These consciousness-based travel methods suggest that the ultimate evolution of interdimensional capability may involve transcending technological tools entirely in favor of developed consciousness abilities that treat multiversal navigation as natural expression of awareness rather than technological achievement. The temporal dimensional integration systems being explored by advanced researchers attempt to combine interdimensional travel with time manipulation capabilities, creating devices that can navigate not just across space and reality, but through temporal dimensions that exist perpendicular to conventional time flow. These temporal integration projects represent some of the most ambitious technological development efforts currently underway, while requiring unprecedented understanding of the relationships between consciousness, time, and dimensional space that operate at the deepest levels of cosmic structure. The consciousness evolution accelerator applications being developed utilize portal gun principles to create educational and therapeutic environments that can provide beings with direct experiential access to higher levels of awareness and understanding available in more evolved realities, creating opportunities for rapid consciousness development that could compress centuries of spiritual growth into manageable timeframes. These consciousness acceleration technologies represent attempts to utilize interdimensional capabilities for the specific purpose of enhancing awareness and wisdom, rather than simply providing enhanced material capabilities or entertainment options. The multiversal communication networks being constructed utilize portal gun technology as foundation for information systems that can connect consciousness throughout dimensional space. In real-time communication networks that transcend conventional limitations of distance and reality, boundaries, creating opportunities for collaborative projects and mutual support that could transform the relationship between individual and collective consciousness development. These communication networks represent practical infrastructure for the kind of cooperative civilization that could address challenges affecting multiple realities simultaneously while respecting the autonomy and diverse needs of participants throughout multiversal space. The reality stabilization systems being developed in response to threats posed by dimensional instability and cascade collapse effects utilize advanced portal gun technology to create protective barriers and repair mechanisms that can restore damaged space-time while preventing the spread of reality-threatening phenomena that could affect multiple dimensions simultaneously. These stabilization systems represent attempts to utilize interdimensional capabilities for protective and healing purposes that serve the collective welfare of consciousness throughout multiversal space, rather than the narrow interests of individual operators or communities. The consciousness preservation technologies being explored utilize portal gun principles to create backup and restoration systems that can preserve individual awareness across dimensional transitions while enabling recovery from catastrophic events that might threaten the continuity of specific consciousness expressions. These preservation systems raise profound questions about the nature of identity and continuity, while providing practical solutions to threats that could affect consciousness development throughout multiversal civilization. The ethical framework integration systems being developed ensure that advanced portal gun technologies incorporate moral reasoning capabilities that prevent their use for purposes that violate the fundamental principles of consciousness, respect, and multiversal harmony, while providing guidance that helps operators make decisions consistent with wisdom and ethical responsibility. These ethical integration systems represent recognition that technological advancement must be accompanied by moral development if interdimensional capabilities are to serve consciousness evolution rather than creating new forms of suffering and exploitation. The environmental harmony protocols being incorporated into next-generation portal gun designs ensure that interdimensional travel and related activities operate in accordance with ecological principles that respect the living nature of dimensional space, while minimizing negative impacts on the consciousness, communities, and environmental systems that exist throughout multiversal civilization. These environmental protocols represent sophisticated understanding of the interconnectedness that characterizes existence at multiversal scales, while providing practical guidance for responsible technological development and usage. The wisdom transmission applications being developed utilize portal gun technology to create educational systems that can provide direct access to the accumulated knowledge and understanding developed by advanced consciousness throughout multiversal civilization, creating opportunities for learning and growth that transcend the limitations of conventional educational approaches while respecting cultural diversity and individual learning preferences. These wisdom transmission systems represent attempts to utilize interdimensional capabilities to accelerate consciousness development throughout multiversal space while maintaining respect for the autonomy and unique contributions of all participants. The consciousness integration support systems being developed provide therapeutic and educational resources that help beings adapt successfully to the expanded awareness and capabilities that accompany regular interdimensional travel while maintaining psychological stability and ethical clarity within unlimited possibility. These integration support systems represent recognition that technological capabilities must be accompanied by consciousness development if interdimensional access is to serve beneficial purposes, rather than creating confusion and spiritual crisis for beings unprepared for exposure to unlimited reality. The legacy continuation projects being developed ensure that the accumulated knowledge and technological achievements of portal gun development will be preserved and transmitted to future generations of consciousness throughout multiversal space, while maintaining the ethical principles and wisdom traditions that guide responsible interdimensional technology development. These legacy projects represent attempts to ensure that the evolution of portal gun technology continues to serve consciousness, development, and multiversal harmony, rather than becoming disconnected from the deeper purposes that justify technological advancement within the unlimited creative potential that characterizes existence throughout the luminous corridors of infinite dimensional space. And so we reach the gentle conclusion of our journey through the luminous corridors of portal gun technology, having traced the elegant mathematics and crystalline beauty that transforms theoretical possibility into lived reality across the infinite expanse of multiversal space. The portal gun rests quietly in our understanding now, revealed not as mere machine but as profound expression of the relationship between consciousness and cosmos, between individual awareness and unlimited possibility, between the tender curiosity that drives exploration and the infinite creativity that responds to every question with new worlds of wonder. As you drift toward peaceful rest, carry with you the recognition that somewhere in the multiverse, portals shimmer like doorways between dreams, their green light pulsing with the gentle rhythms of dimensional harmony, while crystalline cores hum with frequencies that connect every possible expression of existence. The technology we have explored tonight represents more than scientific achievement. It embodies the beautiful truth that consciousness and reality exist in continuous dialogue, that awareness shapes experience through attention and intention, and that even the most sophisticated tools serve ultimately to remind us of our intimate participation in the cosmic dance of creation. Rest now in the knowledge that infinite realities unfold continuously around us, each one perfect in its expression of possibility, each one connected to every other through threads of quantum entanglement that pulse with the same gentle love that carries you towards sleep. Sweet dreams in this singular, precious dimension we call home, knowing that portal guns exist not to escape reality but to celebrate the infinite creativity that makes every moment luminous with potential for discovery, connection, and wonder.